would like to thank Vipul Bhai and other core team members to give me an opportunity to share my thoughts and views on this topic, which is very important and critical for students to pick up in their careers. Apart from the technical topics like tax and GST and accounting standards, auditing, etc. This is becoming a very important angle of learning that is required to be done by all the students who want to progress in their careers and make great great careers on the way forward. So I would like to quickly take you through certain aspects of social media, which is becoming very important and in the day-to-day lives. Let me again share the screen. I think the screen sharing has gone away. So today's focus is actually LinkedIn, wherein we will kind of concentrate on two aspects which I told in the session to be spoken about. The one of the aspects is the aspect with respect to general social media do's and don'ts, and the other is with respect to specifically LinkedIn, which is the core topic of the day. Uh, I think we go to the next slide where we look at social media, which is becoming more and more important with this lockdown and situations where people are working from home. People are not able to face each other and see each other. So most of the what you call the personality building or the decision making about your capabilities of on your education qualifications, your abilities to perform a particular job is now being confined or been seen from the social media angle. So whenever they hear about Mitesh Katira or they hear about Vipul Toksi or they hear about Maitri, they always want to go to a social media website and want to see what these guys are doing. And whenever they hear about any firm, for that matter, say my firm's name is APMH, so they want to go and see what APMH is doing on the web. So the entire decision making has gone from physical decision making, wherein people used to visit our offices or meet us physically and exchange ideas and views. It is completely now driven by social media, which is taking us to the next level, and it has become very important, critical that we create right impression to the audience who visit us on the social media. The social media, in my view, has two aspects. The first aspect is the personal aspect, wherein you engage with people on the personal side, tell them happy birthday or happy anniversary, or tell them where you are going out to a foreign destination. Of course, it has become now very difficult for one to go and travel, but that is how the social or in the COVID situation, how are you dealing with it, or what is the status of your society or your building or your road which is around your society and so on. So you use social media for that kind of an activity, which is the general social activity which you do, or you want to show the personal side of your personality, which is your kids, your family, your friends, your parents want to wish father a Father's Day or a Mother's Day or a Women's Day and so on. So that is one side of the social media, and most of us use Facebook or for that matter Instagram, which is a new version of Facebook, to do this kind of an activity. But when it comes to professional side, where you want to project yourself professional as a expert in certain areas or as a great orator or a speaker, or you want to do any positioning of yourselves for building a career, there comes the LinkedIn, which is very, very important part of the entire ecosystem of social media. I have seen, we'll take this in do's and don'ts of the social media. As now, I will want to tell you that I have seen a lot of people using other forms of social media like Facebook and Instagram. Talk about personal professional side that actually creates a lot of conflicts in the minds of the viewers who see you on the social media. It is a great idea to keep out your personal side and keep out your professional side in another platform. So LinkedIn is a great way of projecting your professional personality or career side of activities to the right kind of people who want to see or who are searching for people like you on the different platforms like Google or LinkedIn and so on. So it is very, very important that we put across ourselves right on these social media portals. At one point in time, there was a situation where it was very important to have right kind of an office or right kind of a setup for impressing the clients, wherein someone is sitting in a AC cabin and has a lot of books around him, and he's kind of having a very fancy phone, or wearing a very good jacket and so on. And it was very, very costly to own that real estate, have a setup, have a structured positioning of yourselves to impress upon the visitors. But now if you look at it on the other way, it has become very, very cheap and easy for anyone to do positioning in right way, because people are taking most of their decisions with the social media or the positioning that you do about yourself on the social media. So it is becoming very, very important for every one of us to use these resources judicially and properly, and to position yourselves in a right manner to the target audience who is looking at you on the from your various aspects of relationships or network that we are talking about. So when it comes to network, general perception that people carry is we are trying to talk about network only from client's perspective. That is, only the client is required to be told the positioning, the capability, the abilities, the influence that one has. But that is not true. We have many other peoples to influence, or many other people to tell about ourselves and position ourselves in the right way, which is very, very important. So few of these kind of audience that we are talking about when we talk about the professional side of the social media, I think those are like suppliers or vendors. Those are team members. Nowadays, when you talk about any firm and tell an article that I'm working in a particular firm, people go on LinkedIn or on any other social media for that matter, or on Google for that matter, and want to check out what exactly your firm is doing before coming in, giving an interview to you and wanting and showing an interest to join your organization. So it has become that common. So networking is very critical. Positioning is very critical from that angle also. And lastly, of course, having good partners or good professional colleagues around is also very critical for building the professional career. And that is why it is very critical to have right partners. So influencing those right partners also calls for positioning in a right way on the social media applications like LinkedIn and others. So I think these are four aspects or four target audience for whom we are trying to build the network. And in this network, we have to keep that in mind while taking the call whether a particular post has to be done or not. whether a particular change in your profile has to be done or not, whether a particular photograph has to be posted on the LinkedIn or not, and so on. So you have to think whether a partner will like such a positioning, whether a supplier or a vendor will like such positioning, whether a team member will like such a positioning, and of course, whether a client will like such a positioning or not, right? So I'm told that we want to talk about the do's and don'ts side of the social media. So I thought it is very critical that we, bust the myth that two myths. Of course, first myth is that the social media positioning is only for clients. No, the positioning is for various other networking, important people like suppliers, like team members, and of course the partners. The other very critical myth that we all run on and think of is whenever a person is using social media very frequently, he is a marketer. He wants to sell his services. Uh, the answer is no. We have to bust that myth as well. It is not always required that you use the social media just to sell services. It is more a reputation building platform where you are building right kind of positioning for yourself as a professional, and you are telling the world at large that what are your capabilities and how you can be of help to any one of these. So it is not direct marketing that one does on the social media, but it creates right presence for his audience. Like we create good office, good furniture. We use a very good laptop or a desktop. We have a lot of books around us, and we create that kind of an atmosphere for someone to come and talk to us. And since we have a very good positioning of ourselves in our office, someone who comes and talks to us also has to be logical and has to take cognizance of those aspects while he communicates to someone like you. So it is very important that so this positioning becomes equally important for all of us to take the advantage of. So it is that kind of an positioning that I am talking about. It is not about marketing or sales directly, right? Although we can also talk about few angles of sales and marketing, but that is not what is ultimately required to be done. So someone was talking to me before and he was telling me that I don't need a LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter. Why? Because I don't want to sell my services anyone hard. I am full. I am very occupied. I have a lot of work to do, and so why should I try and sell my services? So we had a debate that that is not why everyone builds a reputation on the social media. Also because we want to the existing people aware, the existing clients aware of what can do for them. And that is why also it is important that you have a good social media positioning, and nothing wrong in doing that. So this is the debate that we were having, and same debate I can have with every one of you, that it is kind of now become a new normal again, wherein you if you want to do professional services, you should be present in certain social media, and you should be able to project yourself right uh, as an expert on these social media platforms. So it is as simple as that. So with this backdrop, let us look at don'ts of social media. I think don'ts are more critical to me than do's, because many times people know what to do, but people don't know what not to do, and that is why they become suddenly very unfavorite or unliked by the present people on the social media platforms, including LinkedIn, of course. So our focus today is more professional than personal side of the social media. So I would like to draw your attention to 4 or 5 don'ts that are very critical. And I started with don'ts because I feel do's are more, people are more aware about do's. but they miss out on don'ts. So first thing in my view is bombarding lot of posts is the don't, which we need to avoid. I have missed on the spelling, but I mean to say that bombarding of posts on the social media is dangerous. I have found people posting right, left, and center on the social media in the morning, afternoon, evening, night. Daily they post 4 or 5 or 6 posts every day. This actually disinterests the audience. The audience loses the fun of connecting with you, and once they see your name, they just rush this post away. They just rush away the post. So that becomes the situation. So it is better that we post not more than once in 2 or 3 days, or at the most once in a day, if you feel that is something which is very important for your audience to know and you want them to know from your mouth. So okay, so you can post once in a while if you feel that kind of criticality in a particular post. But I would recommend in general, when you are posting something professional, not more than one post a day, or not more than, in fact, one post in 2 days is good enough. So this is my view on the post. I have found people losing interest in people's profile because they find them posting right, left, and center, forwarding a lot of stuff. Second, direct selling. So it is very harmful to tell people that you are doing this, that, and ask them to contact you for a particular service and so on. So that is also one thing that as a professional we need to avoid doing. Um, then third very important thing I think is people getting into negative debates. Most of us have the habit of getting into unnecessarily negative debates, like what China should do, what Pakistan should not do, what Muslims should do, what Hindus should not do, and so on. So I think that is one thing that I would request everyone to avoid completely while they are on social media, because that creates a lot of negative impression about us, and creates run off of our audience who don't like such debates, and we more unfavorite than favorite for people. That is what we need to avoid. Then accept unknown invites. Most of us want to increase our number of people whom we are connected to on a LinkedIn and or a Facebook or any other social media for that matter. But I would request not to accept unknown invites, because unknown invites create a lot of issues around your and you become unfavorite if you are favorite of few people who are not favorite of many. So being favorite of unfavorite is also an unfavorite situation to be in. So I would request that we should avoid accepting a lot of unknown invites unless we know that person, unless we are aware what he is doing or she is doing, or we feel it is of strategic importance to be connected to that person and he has invited you upfront. Okay, but otherwise don't accept a lot of unknown invites, because having more connections on LinkedIn is not the only way in which you improve your network. It is very important that having connections which are of importance and of value of your target audience will actually add upon your capabilities in the network. Lastly, positioning yourself too high profile. Many times we position ourselves too high profile. We say that we are having 40 degrees, we are, traveling in a Mercedes when we don't have even a Maruti 800. We are sitting in a huge high class office and showing off our gadgets all around and so on. So that makes us unapproachable, unlikely, and people start worrying about our high profileness and stop liking us, and we become suddenly unfavorite. Yeah, so I think these are few things that I would want to tell you. about not doing on a LinkedIn portal, so that you remain sober and soft and continue to be favorite of your connects all the time. Let's move to certain other aspects which are hygienic in nature if you want to be on LinkedIn. I know everyone is currently on LinkedIn. In fact, we can do a small poll wherein we can find out who all are not on LinkedIn, and we'll find very few of us who are not on LinkedIn. So most of us are on LinkedIn and are having a lot of connects and so on. But many times we just started a LinkedIn account, we started connecting to people and forgot about a lot of hygienic issues that may uh, hearten our audience. So certain aspects that I would like to throw light on while we talk about LinkedIn is basically hygiene issues of lot of value and weight. First of them is complete all aspects of your profile. Most of us just fill up our degree and we think that I'm a CA, that means I'm a god. That is not anymore true. It used to be true before, but now you need to be humble and tell people about all other aspects of your profile as well, like what kind of an experience you had in your articleship. Say you joined the articleship with a firm called as KPMG, and in KPMG there are varied profiles. So people want to know basically in what profile, what activities you did. Say for example, you joined the transfer pricing side of KPMG. So you did transfer pricing audits of say iron and steel companies or oil and gas companies and so on. So very specific information about the profile is required. You did your CA, okay, but in CA what all did you learn? What was your favorite subject? How did you qualify in first attempt or second attempt and so on. So people are interested to know details. And the beauty of LinkedIn profile is it can help you pull all your details into the profile. And the bigger beauty is you can generate a PDF and send it to someone. It looks very decent, and you send your LinkedIn profile to someone. So make a profile which is worth downloading anytime and sending to someone for counting on you. So it is very critical that you develop such a profile. Other important thing is put up a very decent photograph on the LinkedIn. The photograph should be, as I said, not very high profile, but decent enough for the person to gain that gauge that you are a qualified person and you have basic capabilities that you are talking about. Then third is accept known invites on the LinkedIn. Of course, one needs to accept invites on regular basis. Many times I have found that someone known to us has sent us an invite and we have not accepted for a while. Even that is not a good hygiene on LinkedIn. So be careful about accepting the invite and accept them right in time. Invite people worth being connected and known. Also be humble enough. Don't think that you will not invite anyone and everyone should invite you. That doesn't happen. So it's a good idea to invite people to connect on regular basis. Like say Mitesh is a chartered accountant whom you like to talk about and you had an interaction with, and you feel that he's worth inviting. Nothing wrong in calling up and inviting him on the LinkedIn. For example, say Vipul Bhai is a president of the Chamber of Tax Consultants. So one has to humbly go and check if he is connected to Vipul Bhai or not. and if he is not connected, he has to simply connect with Vipul Bhai. Right? So while connecting with him, one needs to also send a decent message to Vipul Bhai saying that Vipul Bhai, I've heard you in the chamber and I liked your personality, and it will be great idea to connect with you. So kindly accept my invitation and be connected. Because Vipul Bhai knows thousands and thousands of chartered accountants and tax practitioners. So he would not connect simply. He would want the context why you have, asked him or invited. And if he likes your context, he will definitely connect with you and be your friend, and then you can continue to have a good relationship with people by. So that is how it happens with respect to the LinkedIn. There are certain other hygiene points that are worth considering as far as the LinkedIn is concerned. I will just run you through few hygiene points. uh, the another very important hygiene point is comment on relevant posts which you genuinely feel like. Many times you like a particular post, that means you like the reading that, but then you end up not telling that person that you liked it, right? And that creates a wrong impression, because as Vipul Bhai was talking about that Stephen Covey's book, which is Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. I was impressed about the discussion, but I never ended up telling Vipul Bhai that Vipul Bhai, you are a very well-read person, and thank you for sharing with us the discussion about this Stephen Covey. So this is my LinkedIn profile. So I like this particular post, which is leak-proof bamboo bottles. Right, this amazing guy has made bottles which are of bamboo, and he has made it leak-proof. And yes, this is a startup. This is a new venture that this guy has started. I like these bottles. I thought I will give these bottles in gift to my clients or my good close friends and so on, or kids who are qualifying as CA from my office. So I should look at the post, and I should look at the person who has done the post. So I found that this Venkat Raman has done the post, and this guy is my old. He on telling people about new initiatives that people are taking with respect to various aspects of startups. Sorry. So I should congratulate or tell Venkat that hi, I like this startup that you shared. Keep sharing similar things to me. I appreciate your interest in these startups, and definitely he will take cognizance or recognize what I am saying, and he would even revert back on that post. So this builds a close relationship with myself with this guy called as Venkitachalam, right? So many times what happens is on the social media we have a bad habit of just say like and rush through that particular post. Even if we really liked it, we don't end up appreciating it. So it is very important that you appreciate the post by writing some comment, which is a customized comment. Many times the comments are also standard, like we say congratulations is a standard comment, or we say super like is a standard comment. So we should make sure that we customize a comment for a particular post, and it will be appreciated by the audience. So I am giving you some examples of live activities that I am doing on my LinkedIn profile. Um, then share relevant posts to your connects. So if I feel that this bottle post is relevant post Atmanirbhar Bharat, I can share this particular post to my target audience as well. But no, I don't feel that my target audience would appreciate this post. Uh, but if I like one post which is say Slack, this chartered accountant is talking about this messaging app called as Slack, and I actually like Slack. We also at APMS use Slack regularly for our internal communications. So Aishwarya Prabhu, I liked your post and I want to share this post to my fellow chartered accountants. Hello friends. Again, when we share something, we have to write our comment why we want to share this. Most of the time, the sharing is just sharing. We don't write anything on the post. So people don't like it. They feel it is a forward and they want to miss out that post and make you unfavorite. So I can always quote the target audience, that is chartered accountant worth considering Slack as your internal messenger. And drop the WhatsApp out. Okay. Here, there is one very good feature that LinkedIn has, which it says that you can share this post with everyone, or only connects, or only a group member, and so on. So I will say share it with everyone, and I will just post here. So this is how it is very important that you share posts with people whom you feel are worth sharing, and it is also been recognized and given importance if you share sensible posts. So yeah, so many people are not capable of writing their own posts. Nothing wrong. It is worth doing these hygienic things on regular basis, and you will see your network growing in right direction, and you will get a lot of tech who are logically important for you on your uh, on your LinkedIn profile. See, in my case, we have got around 200, 2,092 good only by following the basic hygiene of 4-5 steps that I talked about, which looks very simple but has a lot of impact. I was featured by LinkedIn couple of times as as influencer profile. So that is how you can improve your positioning on LinkedIn and become a very highly viewed kind of a profile. At this juncture, I would invite if you have any about topic. As and when you feel, you can just punch your questions on the chat box, and we'll pick it up from there. So let's move to the next slide, which is sixth slide from my presentation. So for people who have regularly been using LinkedIn, so many have been regularly using LinkedIn, so they would have not appreciated what I was talking because they are already doing this hygienic stuff on regular basis. So for them, some what you call advanced things that I feel are worth considering. One of the things is include website link of your company. Most of the times in the profiles, we miss out mentioning the website link of our company on our profile. This is very important. People would visit your company's website through the LinkedIn in many cases, and they will appreciate your website link on your profile itself. Upload details of your organization. Many times we just mention more partner with the PMH and associates, but we miss out telling what APMH is doing. So that will also be appreciated if you kind of include that part into your profile. Include links of your YouTube intro. If you have any YouTube introduction or anything on YouTube which is worth being shared with the people who want to read your profile, you can include those links as well on your profile. It is very, very advanced and very useful feature of LinkedIn, that you can add slide share, you can add videos, you can add URLs of your website or so on. Ask for testimonials. It is very important that you ask people whom you have worked with that kindly, give me some testimonial of activities that I have done for you. And people who come to visit your website, sorry, your LinkedIn profile would like to see those testimonials on the LinkedIn profile. For example, in my case, I have also taken few testimonials. See, this is one of the testimonials that I collected from our partner in GCC countries. In Bahrain, we were working with this partner. Just one second. Now. So I just collected a testimonial from my client or my partner in Bahrain. So he writes about me. I worked with Mitesh in several major projects related to VAT and GCC country. He is extremely hard worker and has unmatched knowledge of every small detail of his expertise. He is very valuable. If you look at one of the clients sending a testimonial for me, or one of our CA friends who wrote a testimonial for me or a recommendation for me, one of the strategy professionals writing a testimonial for me. So this is very valuable content for someone who is looking at your profile, and he will really this activity, these recommendations, and he will quickly gauge what capability you are carrying as an expert or a professional. More importantly, you can also recommend your contacts on the LinkedIn. If you want to be recommended, you should also recommend the contacts, so that then it will be respected both ways. Join relevant LinkedIn groups. LinkedIn has got a very good model of groups, wherein you can join those groups and start talking about the interests of that group. In fact, you can also create few groups, and you can talk about those contents that are of use to those LinkedIn groups. You can write LinkedIn blogs. LinkedIn had a very nice feature called as Pulse, which they stopped for a while, but they have also again introduced writing blogs on the LinkedIn, which is very nice way of putting across the content which is of relevance to your target audience directly on LinkedIn. It is a great idea to have a blog on your website, but many of us may not have that facility or feature. People are working with someone and want to still project themselves as an expert in some field. So even in that case, they can create interesting blogs on LinkedIn directly. Generate conversations. It is very important that you talk to target audience LinkedIn. Create posts which are valuable, which are commented, which are liked by your audience and creates engagement for you, that is discussion for you at various levels. So I think for people who are already done their hygienes right, they can move to next step by trying to do this kind of stuff on the LinkedIn, which is very valuable and um, important. So first is hygiene, and second is this advanced stuff that is worth considering for the target audience. Let's move to next slide, uh, which is about actually generating business. Many people look at LinkedIn as a business generator, and they want leads to be coming in from the LinkedIn profile that they have created. Yes, this is possible. We have done a lot of work with the help of LinkedIn. Uh, I myself generated a lot of interest for activities that we do with the help of LinkedIn, and it has paid off very well. For example, this partner that I showed you um, has come through LinkedIn from Bahrain, and we worked very well with him on various projects that we did for the GCC countries. So that is how LinkedIn is very, very powerful. Um, so what all can be done on generating business? First, like, share relevant content. So it is very important that you start liking the relevant content which is of value to your target audience. Most of the time people think that my content should be liked by someone else. But I would say that it is not always true that you just want your content to be liked. First step is you start liking others' content. You start sharing others' content which is relevant to your target audience. Relevant content doesn't always mean that if you are wanting to do tax practice, you share only tax related content to your target audience. Relevant means the content which is liked and absorbed by the target audience and which creates good reputation for you in their mind. So for example, my target audience is small and medium enterprise. So it is always not necessary that I talk about tax benefits or tax proposals or budget or updates or change in due date of tax with these target audience. I can always talk to them about other aspects that would be liked. For example, with the advent of Corona, what the small and medium enterprises are innovating and doing differently to help their customers or build their sales is a very relevant thing which would be appreciated from a professional like me by the target audience. So nothing wrong in telling them that these are all initiatives that can be taken by an SME to grow its sales or business. So, or for example, what precautions should an SME take when it is restarting its office with after the change in Corona situation? So yeah, obviously that is been well liked by the audience. Or what is the uh, financial impact uh, that the SME may face due to this kind of a lockdown, and how it will mitigate the situation with respect to its business, which has caused an impact in this lockdown. So these are certain things which will be liked by the audience. So one has to innovate and create stories which are of interest to the uh, target audience instead of just talking about stuff that you want to sell. Engage in already on conversations. Many times, many conversations are on. For example, an SME is talking about the reliefs that have come by the government in the package introduced by the finance minister recently, and how they can benefit from those reliefs. And can you go and comment on that post and give your relevant feedback to that group of people who are engaging internally? It will be taken very, very head on if you can do that. Third is show concern for your target audience with some solution in your post. So it is very important that you show the tragic situation that is being faced by the SME in the current scenario and what they can do about it. So show your concern. Many times people continue to bombard their own things on the target audience. It is not a great idea. It is a great idea to show your concern with respect to those people who are in your target and tell them that you are worried about them. Generate relevant, healthy debates within the audience. Create debates, ask questions on the LinkedIn which are relevant to the target audience, and generate discussions on those aspects. Basically, create engagement. Invite the audience for webinars to display capabilities. Many times there are a lot of questions that come to you which you feel are relevant and you have a solution to it. Great idea to arrange a webinar. Invite all those people who were asking these questions and ones whom you feel would have similar questions, and try to address those questions through a webinar. Great idea to create a webinar. Webinar has a good impact on the audience. Lastly, engage one-on-one. Write to that person directly. In LinkedIn, there is something called as messaging, which is a very good feature, which people seldom use, but it is very, very valuable. People like, you know, the messages coming in from LinkedIn because they are not as bombarding as the messages that come to you through Facebook or any other app for that matter. So people like to listen from you on the LinkedIn. They respect the messages coming to you on the LinkedIn. For example, I want to talk to someone, say Radhakrishnan Pillai. He is a deputy director of this company. It's a great idea to message him through the LinkedIn itself and tell him about um, um, your interest in his subject. Most of the time, the problem with us is while we message, we are always greedy to ask about our needs. Can we change the tone by saying that can we solve his problem and can we help him in some way, or can we resolve his burning issue, and so on. So that will be more respected than asking for help for ourselves. So it is just a matter of changing the tone, and messages will be replied and people will ask like um, your interest and your concern about them. So yeah, so I think these are few tips, very, very quick ones. Like and share, engage, show concern, generate relevant and healthy debates, invite audience on webinars, and best way is to engage one-on-one. Yeah, so we can move to next slide, which talks about some relevant apps which are worth considering from LinkedIn stack. LinkedIn, it has online, it has tremendous data of lot of relevant people who are valuable to many, many different types of people like job seekers, recruiters, salespeople, management teams, and so on. So those data can be churned and created a lot of value out of for different people at different level. Few of the very important apps that I would like you all to know and to use are first three. First is SlideShare, other is LinkedIn Learning, and third is LinkedIn Elevate. So these are three Android come iOS apps which LinkedIn has come up with. Uh, SlideShare is very relevant for us. We create a lot of presentation and slides for general sessions like what I'm conducting now on LinkedIn and other topics. We generate those slides and keep it in our database for long while. It's a great idea to put all your slides which are relevant and useful on the SlideShare. SlideShare is like YouTube of slides. So in YouTube, what you do is you post videos and you collect videos. You create what you call the list of those videos. You create channels. Similarly, of slides, you can create channels and groups and keep those slides together in something called a SlideShare. So I have been using SlideShare for a while. Very impactful. People who are searching for relevant slides online can search these slides and use them and also read them and also understand your capabilities because of those slides. And maybe they may fall in love with your capabilities and want to talk to you and exchange ideas and take your suggestions or use your solutions or advice for various purposes. Another is LinkedIn Learning. Lot of learning activities like what you have been doing on Udemy or Coursera or any other learning app. There is an online learning plethora of stuff available with LinkedIn. Lot of courses are available which are paid and free. You can join those courses and improve your knowledge about various aspects. LinkedIn is a very good data source for people who are interested in learning Excel or Power BI or Tableau or PowerPoint presentations or how to use social media effectively, how to do social media marketing, LinkedIn advertising, Facebook advertising, and lot more. Right, so one should chase those learning courses whenever one has time. Lockdown is the best time when you need digital media the maximum, and you can also learn from the digital media the maximum because you have some time in your hand to spend on that aspect. Third is LinkedIn Elevate. Elevate is like blogging and curating stuff from various of your staff members or team members together into one place and create posts out of that stuff. Then, of course, there is a sales navigator wherein you can explore the database of LinkedIn at various levels, management level, CFO level, CEO level, CXO level, drill down to that database into industry or geography and so on, and use that database for various of your campaigns or activities that you want to do. Few of these things are paid. Of course, it will not be free because LinkedIn is doing a lot of data mining for you ready made. So it is paid. Recruitment, there is a Recruiter Lite. Of course, you can post one or two recruitment advertisements on LinkedIn paid, and you get a very good response. I have myself tried a lot of LinkedIn recruitment before, and it works very well because relevant people are available. Facebook and others are not that capable because they are not actually having people coming on them in a professional mood or career building mode. Most of them come in light mood to enjoy themselves and talk to their friends, relatives, and so on. So it's a different platform. Premium Business, again, a database mining app for um, connecting with partners, team members, and so on through the LinkedIn. And last is, of course, Jobs. So if you are a job seeker, there are many students, and nowadays many posts are coming. Today I saw one LinkedIn post of one of my friends saying that, this is a tough time for chartered accountants to get recruited. Please help me. And I saw one of the guys immediately shared that post to all his team, all his groups, saying that kindly, see if this guy is worth it, and accept him or talk to him, or at least um, you know try him out for any job that you feel suitable for him. So people get a lot of opportunities on LinkedIn. So yeah, so there is something called as premium jobs. It is a paid again version wherein job seekers can see a lot of recruiters and connect to them and maybe get jobs through LinkedIn. So these are major tips I want to share to LinkedIn. Uh, Thing, about the the overall mindset that one needs to carry when one goes to the social media. I think one of the messages that is worth considering is givers gain. It is always givers who gain the maximum. So when you go to the social media, please become a giver, not a taker. Accept new ideas, cherish them, share them, like them, become a giver to your target audience, become a giver to your partners, to your team members, to your friends and colleagues, to your professional colleagues, and so on. And you automatically gain out of it. So it is a great idea to be on LinkedIn, create a wave out of it, um, generate a lot of different types of connects out of it. Um, Join the dots that you feel are worth it. The world is all about connecting dots. One who can connect right dots at right time becomes a great personality, and one who cannot do that connection of right dots at right time miserably fails. So it is worth looking at LinkedIn from that angle and start acting on it. Everyone would have got laptops and desktops and mobile phones now on. So I would request that it's your time now. Just try it out, and I am sure it will impact your career in a great way. With this, I would like to again thank the chamber and other colleagues and office bearers and core committee to invite me. Maitri Cheda is a very close connect and has been always inviting me on different sessions. Of course, Chamber is very kind to have me on their IT committee as well. And I've been talking at Chamber for at least one or two or three sessions every year. And I have fallen in love with Chamber and would be happy to offer my services all the while to the chamber and the people who are connected to the chamber. And thank you everyone for giving me a patient hearing. I am open to questions if any, one or two, three, and then we can maybe move towards the closure of this session. Thank you everyone.
Sir, so we have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
One of them is, in case we are interested in job and posted on LinkedIn, then all our contacts would get notified via our profile, which we don't want. So what is the solution of this? How can we search the job on LinkedIn without our contacts knowing about it?
So a lot of recruiters are always on LinkedIn. When you go to say, uh, um, um, so people have aspirations to join various organizations. For article student who has just finished his CA and wants to look at a big four can go to something called as KPMG, right, on LinkedIn, and there is a entire activity of KPMG going on at the LinkedIn, and you will always find there is some tab called as jobs on their page, wherein you can see if they need any any one to join with them, right? And you can always, you know, post on these jobs, revert on these jobs, and with your resume and other details. So they may like you and they may, consider you for, some job that is of interest to you. Another option is go to the list of people who are part of the KPMG by clicking on something called as Badrik plus 17 and see if you are connected to someone directly or indirectly. So here is my list. So whenever an article student comes to me, because we have been training a lot of article students, as of now around 30 article students are with us. So not all of them would want to continue with APMH, and neither will APMH take everyone. So we tell them that you write to this guy called as Khusro Pardiwala, and you will get a call, or he may be of interest to work with you. So I'm finding out that lot of my connects who are first level connects and are part of KPMG. So what I can tell my article student is to write to Kusru, or to write to Udas, or write to Vipul Bhai, or write to Anuradha, or write to Paras. So this is how. So this is Nagesh. So for example, Nagesh was part of APMH. He is trained under me, but now he is a senior indirect tax resource in KPMG. So I can always, tell Nagesh, if you have any opportunity for this guy, please, consider him for that. So it becomes very easy and quick for us to connect. So this is how LinkedIn can help you generate jobs for yourselves at different levels. So for example, someone is now thinking, no, I don't want to consider Big Four. There is a problem. I want to look at some IT company, Tata Consultancy, which is very stable and would never do a job, salary cut, even in the bad situation. But when you look at a Big Four or any other firm, for that matter, they would not worry about you. They would worry more about their own P&L account. So let's look at something like Tata Consultancy. You go to Tata Consultant, click just search Tata Consultancy, find a lot of people who are there. You are not connected directly to anyone on Tata Consultancy. All are on second level connects, right? So you will go to say Renu Narvekar, and you want to see what she is doing. So global head taxation at Tata Consultancy. नाउ टैक्सेशन में है और अपना है तो चलो देखो जॉब मिलने का चांस है, लेकिन ये सेकंड कनेक्ट है, इसको डायरेक्ट लिख नहीं सकते हम लोग. So what we can do is we can find out who all are my connects, who are Renu's connects as well. Go to those connects. Say Inesh Bhai Doshi, he was our past president. He is connected to Renu. So I can always tell Inesh Bhai, hey, Inesh Bhai, can you help me connect with Renu? So Hinesh Bhai will definitely be kind and tell me, ठीक है चलो मैं connect करवा देता हूँ. Or Deepak for that matter, or for Venkat Raman for that matter, I can tell them, and I can get connected to Renu, and I can talk to her to consider me in Tata Consultancy, for example, right? So I think these are few ways in which you don't tell everyone that you are seeking job, but you find a solution for yourself. Okay.
Okay, sir. Sir, we have another question. How do we get content that might grab attention and people might like it?
So the moot question is which people do you want your content to be liked by? So you need to choose that. So if you want chartered accountants to like your content, then talk their language. If you want SMEs to like your content, talk their language. if you want the large corporates to like your language, talk in their way. So it is very important to first identify which target audience we are talking about. It is not always a post which is very general. It is always pointed to someone. So when you look at specific target audience, you can think of various ways in which you can make them enjoy your content. For example, we wanted our content to be liked by, say, insolvency professionals. In between, there was a buzz that in GST there is a new notification which says that insolvency professionals will have to draw their attention towards the cases where they need help under GST, because they would require to get register themselves, means their corporate debtors into GST. So we actually wrote the content with the razor sharp focus to reach out to the insolvency professionals. So one has to curate the content in the way your target audience is and what is being appealed to that target audience at that point in time, and accordingly we should write the content, and that will definitely appeal the audience.
Okay, sir. Sir, we have another question. As a CA final student, will it be advisable to create a profile on LinkedIn, or do we wait till we get our degree?
I think the earlier you create the profile, the more credible it will become. In the profile, there are a lot of things other than CA that you need to mention on your profile. For example, you can always mention about the articleship that you did, the quality of learning that you got from your articleship, the type of client handled in your articleship, the activities that you took up during the articleship and how they transformed their so it is you need to wait to present on LinkedIn. You can start being present on LinkedIn immediately, and when you are CA, you will be well recognized on LinkedIn, and you will have a lot of strength and power. Like for example, I mentioned my professional insights course that I did, or TVC Institute's course that I did. It's a very basic course. I did in 2003, or in the professional insights I did in 2012. But today also, I don't know how Ankit by remembering, he said did a course called professional insights. So he probably would have looked. So it's very important that you create your profile immediately and start working on it. And over a period of time, those degrees and qualifications ahead, you also write a lot of like I've been treasurer of Lions Club of Roha, or I have been member of IT committee of CTC. Someone is in the Kabaddi or the sports, or he is office based in a small society or an organization. It in your volunteering opportunity. So I think you can make your profile highlighted and good enough without even a CA degree. So don't worry, don't wait till you get a CA degree. Start putting together your profile.
Sir, another question is, how much of importance does e-presence have on other social media platforms in context of privacy concerns?
Okay, so privacy, in my view, has become a myth. There is nothing called as privacy now. Everything is open. People know everything about yourself. It is a great idea to ring fence your privacy with good stuff that you want to project yourself while you write. If you don't project yourself, someone else will come and do something humbug about you, and that will be read on the social media. For example, When you click on simple Google search and you write something like say Mitesh Katira, there are two choices to Google. One is to put up the content that you have created and qualitatively nurtured and curated over a period of time. And the other option is someone else has created something for you and people will read that. So like for example, in my case, when I write Mitesh Katira, my LinkedIn profile comes, my Facebook profile comes, my Twitter profile comes, my Instagram comes, which I have curated for myself. And I have written it in the manner that I wanted to write. And the photographs that I wanted to put on social media and YouTube. Those are the things that happen. Someone who is not writing anything about himself on social media, there's posted on this profile. So it is a great idea to start doing your own curation of activities and your own curation of stuff on the social media instead of waiting for people to kill your privacy by putting something wrong for you on the social media.
Mitesh bhai, Ankit here. I have one question. These days, in particular, with so many social media platforms available, there is a lot of time that starts getting invested into it. What do you feel is the right amount of time actually one should invest into it, to ensure we have a proper presence? At the same time, we are not wasting a lot of our time as well. How much do you invest?
Yeah, thanks. Very, very relevant question. I think I would like to say this that we have to invest quality time on social media with a clear-cut objective in our mind to tell the what is real capability, what are the real capabilities that we carry and what all we can help them with. If we go with that focus and clear mind to the social media, we will not end up wasting time. People end up wasting time because of the habit of going on social media just for the sake of it and keep on saying. So in past TV channels and we scrolled hundreds of channels just like that and saw something for some time and went to next channel. Similar syndrome is seen in people's mind to see WhatsApp or LinkedIn or Facebook and keep on scrolling it again and again and again and adding up no value as far as knowledge is concerned, neither any development or growth is concerned. So keeping end in mind is very critical. If you keep that end in mind, number of hours that are spent will become all fruitful and will not amount to any waste of time. But if you don't keep that end in mind and allow your mind to just do whatever it likes, then it will amount to waste of time. So I would, to be very specific, Ankit, with you, I think daily half an hour is a must-have kind of a thing if you want to improve your overall professional profile and make it structured as you want it to be, but not more than that. If that is the case, then it amounts to waste of time. To put up kind of a thumb rule around it.
One more thing, Mitesh bhai. Which other social media platform apart from LinkedIn, from a professional perspective, you would recommend?
From a professional perspective, I think LinkedIn is the only professional social media profile. One more thing that I would like to recommend all the professionals if they want to spend time on and build good reputation is Quora. Quora has got immense number of questions coming from SMEs all the time, from a lot of target audience all the time. If you concentrate on those questions and answer them as an expert, definitely you will generate a lot of engagement out of it. And those engagements are very valuable. Number two is some sites like CA, there was a website which wherein you can become an expert and project yourself, that is CA India. That is also very useful website. You can join that as well, and you can answer a lot of questions that are coming up on that website also, and keep the engagement up. But Quora is very generic and very useful, and you can become an expert through Quora as well. CA Club India, sorry.
CA Club India, right.
Yeah. So these are two I think I would recommend if you want to project yourself right.
Sir, one opinion on Twitter, whether it's a good platform to be on?
I think Twitter is good for politicians and people who are actors and want to create big fan followership. We are not here to create big fan followership. We are here to project right profile for ourselves. I don't think Twitter can add anything.
Mitesh, can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
See, Twitter actually is effective mode of communication for organization like Chamber.
Obviously.
When I assumed office as president, it was one of my agenda that we should have more followers, because that's how we reach more people. So in fact, followers of Chamber are nearing 800 now, which was 200 when at the beginning of the year. So it is the amendments in the Companies Act, Income Tax Act, that can be very effectively communicated to people, and that's how you can attract more members. So besides politicians, I think organization like Chamber also, I think, can make effective use of Twitter.
Yes, definitely, Vipul bhai, you are right, absolutely. So it is for people who want to create large followerships and create big memberships, big fan following, and so on. For them, it is a great tool. But for people who want to create logical reputation inside the target audience, I think LinkedIn and Quora are good choice.